It is Cinco de Mayo 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. It is good to have everybody along for the ride, however you are consuming us, whether it's on our YouTube channel, in podcast format, or live on the AMP app using the code word Baseball Today. We really, really appreciate you being here. And boy, it's a big day. I'm sure you saw all over social media, a big announcement by Jimmy and Jake for John Boy Media, which is awesome. It means we'll continue to build our empire and continue to bring you all the content you've been consuming over the last several years. Plouffe, don't we appreciate all the viewers and the fans and the consumers out there?
Oh my gosh, more than anything. And I think, one of the things that separates us from different companies is that we do engage with our community, and we are building a community first. And it's great. We're going to get bigger, but that's not what this is all about. This is getting better. We want to put better quality content out for everybody, because that's what it's all about. We are doing this so people have something to enjoy, and screw bigger. I don't care about that. I really believe that we just need to make better quality content, and then the rest will follow. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. But when you get bigger, you do get better in terms of, we have a lot of people that have been grinding behind the scenes. So when you add more people, hopefully that will make for a better product. And so that is the end goal, right? So that is the whole thing. Also, special shout out to the Washington Nationals, my guy Kyle, and everybody who sent this awesome City Connect lid. So I've got the cherry blossoms. I even brought the card they sent me. Look at this thing. Hold on one second.
I need that lid. Who's Kyle? Can you please hook me up? That's a beautiful lid.
Look at this. It's a cherry blossom that popped out of a card. How neat is that, huh? Woo!
I could rock that hat. You make it look good. I can make it look great. There's no doubt about it.
I always give it, because I'm so shitty at bending the brim. So I give it to Brady, and he has a special mechanism that does it. So he's hooked it up pretty good. All right, let's get it going with something that got a lot of people bent out of shape. Wednesday afternoon, Madison Bumgarner ejected after pitching one inning for the Diamondbacks down in Miami by umpire Dan Bellino. I don't know if he was giving him a mani-pedi or what it was. What was your take on the entire situation? What disappointed you most?
It looks like it was nice. MadBum could have enjoyed it if in a different situation, different scenario, the massage. I was thinking when I saw this happen, I was like, I know that move from somewhere. Dan was staring directly at MadBum, waiting for MadBum to look at him. Now I was like, where have I seen that before? And I realized I do that. When I want to let my children know I am pissed at them, I'll give them a towel, but I'm not going to give it to you until you look me in the eye and you can see in my eyes that I'm mad at you. And essentially that's all it was. He was treating MadBum like his child. Because he was upset. MadBum made some gestures. He wasn't happy with some calls by the home plate umpire. There's no place in the game for baiting. And here's something that umpires have to think about. How often does San Francisco go play Miami?
I get it. Most people are not going to see Madison Bumgarner pitch.
Dude, there could be some people out there. Doesn't matter, dude.
Maybe.
You're taking him out in the first inning. You're hurting that team's bullpen. And MadBum didn't do anything.
Not that we know of.
Well, have we heard anything? MadBum talked about it after the game. We saw the video.
He talked about it. This is the biggest problem I have with the issue is that, everybody immediately wants to overreact on social media, right? Fire Dan Bellino. Don't let him ever work again. I don't fall into that camp. I think he was wrong. From what I know and perceived, I think he was wrong. This is the major issue with Major League Baseball. Fans are left, and media members and everybody who has to question what's going on, are usually left in the dark on issues, okay? So MadBum said, well, you saw the video. He didn't want to answer the questions. Torey Lovello said, well, Dan Bellino told me something. I'm not going to share it with you. That's their prerogative. And then Dan Bellino was interviewed by a pool reporter. Here's what it was said. I wouldn't say that Bumgarner took exception to it, meaning the hand check. It was just a hand check. Bumgarner was ejected for, quote, profanity directed at an umpire, said Bellino, who cited that the starter, quote, made some inappropriate comments and was removed from the game. That's all we got. We did not get from the pool reporter a follow-up question. Dan, it looked like you were staring Madison Bumgarner down instead of checking his hand. In all of the hand checks that we've seen over the last couple of years, we've never seen one like that. Why did you stare at him instead of check his hand? Wouldn't that have perhaps cleared up the issue here?
We would have loved some accountability. What's Dan going to say to that question? Is he going to say it was just a regular routine handshake? No, it wasn't.
Well,
it wasn't
we
at
don't
all.
know because he was never asked the question. He was never asked the question. So what Major League Baseball has to do today, which of course they won't because they never come out and they're always reactionary instead of proactive. What they should have said is we are investigating the incident between Madison Bumgarner and Dan Bellino. Okay. We will get full reports from both sides and we will let you know what we find. Of course they won't because they don't ever do that.
Hey, if there was any chalk on who would be like a confrontational handshake, I mean, you got Bumgarner, you got Scherzer, like those are the two guys you'd think. I don't think any of this was Bumgarner's fault. I really don't. Okay. And that's not just like player bias. It's not like you goaded the guy into it. Like, of course, do you know how much like adrenaline a guy like MadBum has? I know like the outward appearance, like he's usually pretty stoic, but like there's a lot going on in there. And you poke the bull, you get the horns, right? Like you can't do that, man. So that's something else that, Dan knows, but has to realize in that moment that like he's fired up. Like this isn't the heat of, competition. So I just think it was just silly. It was silly.
It was silly, but it was more than that. You really screwed a team. If you didn't have a good reason, like if it was just he was bitching a little bit about the strike zone, when doesn't Madison Bumgarner bitch about the strike zone? It was the same thing with John Lackey, whom I know a little bit out of baseball. I was like, I saw Lack bitch about the first pitch of a game one time. Like it wasn't just an eye roll. It was, what was that? Like those guys are known for it and it's okay. And it's okay for umpires to be mad and all that sort of stuff. But man, when you're talking about changing the entire direction of a game because you're removing a starting pitcher after one inning, you better have a good reason. And none of us know what the reason is.
I just want to know, what did he think was going to happen when you hold a guy like Bumgarner's hand for that long, waiting for him to, like he was waiting for acknowledgement. Did he think Bumgarner was going to say, Dan, you're right. I shouldn't have said anything. I shouldn't have done any gestures towards the home. He's not going to say that. The only reaction you're going to get from a guy like Madison Bumgarner or any professional athlete, when you're holding their hand like that, is the one he got. He was looking for it.
Real quickly, 30 seconds on this. Do you think that Dan Bellino should be punished?
I don't know. Yes, like, or at least told, like, you can't do that. Like, I don't know if he needs to be suspended, but maybe. Like, I lean towards yes in that. But he has to be told you can't do that.
And by the way, if you're the umpires union, which I know is there to protect the umpires, don't you need to protect the rest of the guys who aren't assholes like that too? Like, don't you have to protect their reputation? Right? I mean, let's be honest. If the whole union is there to represent everybody and not just the guys who step out of line or who aren't good at their jobs, but unfortunately, I feel like that's what those unions do. Is they want to protect
more than anything. They want to keep it internal here. That's just the umpires. That's the way they work. That's just how it is. I will say this. I don't think Dan's an asshole. He acted like one yesterday.
Right.
Go on his Wikipedia page. It's actually pretty impressive. I'm serious. Go check it out. Like, he's a smart dude. That's what actually makes it more like dumbfounding is like, he's a smart guy. Like, he is. Like, so Dan, come on, man. You messed up. And if I was Dan, I would have just come and said, you know what? I shouldn't have done that.
It's a hard thing for some people to say, man. That's a big thing, right? But maybe some people could learn something from Alec Bohm this year. What did he do? Right after having that issue in Philly, came right out and said, listen, I screwed up. Heat of the moment. I screwed up. Next day, standing ovation.
He's a rock star.
Not saying Dan Bellino would get a standing ovation next time he works, but maybe it would take a long step toward people saying you should never work in MLB again. All right, let's continue on. Rowdy Tellez set a Brewers record with 8 RBIs in a single game, 2 homers, including a slam. Almost had a third homer and a second grand slam coming off a Reds position player, Matt Reynolds. More impressed with Tellez's record-setting effort, or more miffed that a month into the season and a team like the Reds has only 3 wins?
I'm not going to talk about the Reds right now. I'm not going to. Okay. Rowdy, my guy. Sorry, you can't hit position players like I can hit position players.
That's true.
I take them deep, bro. I want to talk about Rowdy right now. I've been a fan of his. I played, one of my last years in AAA. He was also in AAA for the Blue Jays at that time. So we got to know each other a little bit. I think we actually had some beers together, some pops back in the day. But we went to Brewers camp and talked to him, and he's just a really good guy getting an opportunity right now. We talked all off season about they needed to bring in a left-handed bat to play first base or whatever. But Rowdy stepped in this role and is crushing it. And his swing is so dialed in right now. If you look at his homers, his first 2 homers, by the way, moonshots, absolute no doubters. But right now, he is getting so extended out there. And he not only that, he's catching the ball out in front, but he's got 3, 4, 5 clicks, still going through the ball. And that is such a difficult position to get in. The best hitters do it. We study these hitters trying to get in this position. It's very hard to do that consistently. And he's doing that right now. And when you get your swing dialed in like that, this is what happens. Big nights like this, man. 8 freaking RBIs, just missed that other grand slam. But it's funny. He had this great night. And I guarantee you, if anybody knows the Brewers and their coaching staff, Pat Murphy is there.
Yeah,
and he's always all over Rowdy Tellez. I guarantee he was talking crap to him, about that last one going off the top of the wall and not being a homer. I would have loved to be in the dugout for that. But, you got to tip the cap. Rowdy's doing it. There's not a lot of guys performing offensively on that team right now. We know they got the pitching and they got the record right now too. And Rowdy's a big part of it.
Sometimes I feel shitty writing these questions. When I said, well, were you happier for Rowdy Tellez setting a record or the Reds getting off this terrible? I just was like, oh, Rose, you're such an asshole when you do that. So I want to say, raise my hand, said I screwed that up. So let's celebrate Rowdy Tellez. First of all, I am shocked that the Brewers record for RBIs in a game is only 8. I couldn't believe it.
That's a lot of RBIs.
But it is, but it isn't. If you think about a single game record, you would have figured somebody would have had double digits, right?
We got to look that up. Dan, I don't know if you quick on the trigger here, but most RBIs team wise, everyone, I wonder what the
single game franchise records. I would say most of them are double digits. So I was just surprised that it was 8. I'm happy for
what's the record, do you think, just for
in a single
most game? Yeah.
I know that,
Dan, this is all you, bro.
I can tell you that Chris James, who played for Cleveland in the 80s, he had 9 in a game against Oakland when Oakland was really good. So I was like, oh my God, we used to kill Oakland. I don't know. Major league record for RBIs in a game is 12, recorded by 2 Cardinals players 69 years apart. Dan is telling us.
Okay.
Hall of Fame.
How did I know you were going to reference a 1980s Cleveland Indians player when you were going there?
Yeah. Okay.
Your bag is full of those, bro. I love it.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, I was surprised that 8 was the record. Maybe I'm a little off base and all that stuff. Also, Rowdy Tellez went to Elk Grove High School out in California, which has been the home of many, many, many professional athletes. Many. I think he might have played. I think Madrigal's probably a little younger than him. Who else did I see on this list? Dylan Carlson is there. He might be a little younger. I know he played with some guys. Buck Martinez went there. Shout out, Buck. I hope you're feeling well, man. David Hernandez, former major league pitcher.
Yep.
Remember him?
Be in the book. Might be in the book.
Okay. What? Really?
Maybe.
You can't just throw those names out. And then you're probably too young to remember Bill Cartwright, who played for the Knicks and the Bulls. The
name sounds familiar.
He was traded for Charles Oakley, that then became, no, not okay.
Okay.
You don't care.
Shout out Rowdy.
Yeah, shout out Rowdy. I'm happy for him. Good for him. He's fun. And you know what's great? He looks like the dude that's sitting in section 117 before a game, down in about 3 or 4 beers, and then he goes out and mashes. I think it's awesome.
I love that. Put a bat in his hand. He gets poetic and artful out there. I love it.
Hey, Rourke, good job today. There's 16 10 RBI games in MLB history. Most recently was Mark Reynolds in 2018.
That's so many RBIs, dude.
It is a lot.
That's a nice month.
Hell yes, it is. All right, so we're a month into the baseball season. You know what that means? Freshly manicured lawn. Not talking about your favorite baseball stadium. I'm talking about yourself, dude. South of the equator. Let MANSCAPED take care of you. If you go to manscaped.com, use the code baseball today, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping That's 20% off and free shipping with the code word baseball today. So I want you to follow these instructions. Step 1, grab your handy dandy lawnmower 4.0. It is a great one. I used it before my trip to Cabo. I'm telling you, I was feeling fresh, feeling clean. It's the ultra smooth package. Step 2, the crop exfoliator, infused with ingredients that soothe, clear, and keep the skin around that special sensitive area feeling refreshed. Step 3, the crop gel. See where you're shaving with our unique clear shaving gel just for the groin area. And step 4, it's time to shave. The crop shaver was designed for shaving the groin area with supreme confidence. So if you can follow instructions, it'll be very simple. Go to manscaped.com, code word baseball today, 20% off your offer and free shipping. Believe me, you'll be feeling silky smooth, and that someone special in your life will say, dude, I love you. Mets and Phillies, they had their issues last weekend up at Citi Field, did they not, with the hit batsman and the stuff on Sunday Night Baseball and the following suspension? Do you think there's going to be any carryover as the series now shifts to Philly for 4 starting tonight?
I sure hope not. But, when I look at these two rosters, like there's just kind of like some angry alphas on both sides of the ball. And like you put those two things together, there can only be one. It might happen. And I think also with Buck and Girardi, there's like a little something going on there too. Like they're also alphas in their own right. And it's just a lot of like, this is interdivision, New York, Philly. It just seems like there's something's going to happen. And I really hope there doesn't have anything happen, because I want to watch these two teams play ball against each other. But if you're asking me like to give a percentage, I think there's probably like a 70% chance something happens.
Wow, that high?
Yeah,
huh?
I got the spider senses out, man. I don't know.
Wow, I see.
We have pitchers can't control the ball.
Well, that's true. It's interesting because Tyler Glasnow, who's the latest episode just dropped on the Rose rotation. That's the clip we put out. Not talking about learning to throw inside, right? And what is the cliche that, hey, if you can't throw inside, don't throw inside. And his point was, how am I supposed to learn to throw inside? And the game keeps getting younger and younger and younger. So they have to learn. And if you have been successful, he goes, listen, sometimes ball gets away, dude. It just does. And it sucks. Like he said, hitters have every right to be upset because that shit hurts. But at the same time, like, I'm trying to make a living just like you're trying to make a living. And if I don't go inside, does that mean the guys aren't going to try and hit home runs? Of course they are. So it's just kind of this vicious cycle. Go listen to him. He does a better job explaining it than I do.
I think he would do a better job explaining it. But I would say that, you got to be a pitcher. Like we're just, I'm okay if a pitcher misses a ball up and in, but too many times we're seeing throwers out there. And I don't think that's a wrong term to use. We're seeing guys that just want to max out on all their data, max out on their velo, max out on their spin, where the art of pitching has been lost a little bit. And what I think, if you can throw 97 and you can't control it, but you can throw 94 and control it, I think you should probably throw 94 and control it.
That's fair. That is fair.
But we're not seeing that because the emphasis is on missing bats and your stuff, your data. Your data keeps you in the game. You could have a shitty year, but your data is there. Someone's going to take a flyer on you, Andrew Heaney. Like, so you keep the data there. And I think that's where I lose pitchers, because it's not necessarily pitching anymore. It's a lot of throwing.
So I want to get back to the question at hand, which is, you say it's a 70% chance that somehow something goes awry over the next 4 days. I don't think it's that high. I would give it less than half. I'd say probably 35, in part because Philly's got to start getting their shit together. Like, they got to concentrate on baseball and not so much at, well, that guy headhunted us and this guy didn't, whatever. They lost 4 of 6 so far against the Mets. They're going to play them 7 more times this month, and they won't see him again until August. They're 11-14. They're 4th place in the East. And I know you don't have to tell me, Chris, it's early. I know it's early. We're not even 1 week through May. But like, let's start hunkering down here a little bit. There's already some chirping about Joe Girardi's future there. Like, he was supposed to be the difference maker when they got rid of Gabe Kapler, and what's happened since then. Kapler's going to set records out in San Francisco, and Girardi and this team, they can't get out of their own way 500 wise, even though they keep adding 9-figure contracts to the team. So they got to start getting their shit together, stop worrying about the other stuff, and winning baseball games. That's why I don't give it much of a chance.
I 100% agree with you. I hope you're right. Like, please just focus on baseball. We want all the good players on the field. Okay. We don't want people getting ejected for hand massages that take too long. We don't want people getting ejected because of a scuffle on the field because one pitcher had an errant pitch. Like the only reason I think could be possible is because of that, like one errant pitch up and in, and then like we get the chirping, and then I hope it doesn't happen.
I know. All right, fun series starting out by the Bay tonight. Which one has a better chance of winning its respective division? St. Louis Cardinals or San Francisco Gigantes?
While I do believe both have a chance to win their division, Chris, I think the Cardinals are in a better position to win their division because
yes, wait, my man is committing. He is committing. This is such a big step. I'm going to write this down. Cinco de Mayo, 2022. My man didn't say, dude, this is a hard. Why do you do this to me? He came out with a point. He's about to hammer it home. Let's go.
I do still think it's a silly question, but it's okay. I think the Cardinals have less competition in their division. We know about the Cincinnati Reds. The Cubs are kind of finding, this is not going to be their year. Then you have the Pirates, who we know it's not going to be their year. They also play the Brewers really well. And like they have a really great roster construction. I think they went 11-8 against them last year. They're 2-2 this year. So like those two teams can be neck and neck. I think the Brewers can add some bats and then maybe they start to get away roster wise. Mm-hmm. But the Giants, we saw them, they're playing with like a ragtag team right now. There's some injuries there, but they're still getting victories. I just think, having to go through the Dodgers and now the Padres, who I really believe are going to be there, it's just gonna be a more difficult path for them. That's my answer.
You hit it. You nailed it.
That's my answer.
Right. Well, here's the thing is that there's a third monster in the NL West. Yes, Colorado
and maybe more.
Yes, Arizona's playing well.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, I think those teams will resort back to kind of what they are eventually. I think it's great for their fan bases and even better for their organizations that they're off to a really nice start. It's the only division where everybody is at least 500. So I'm going to applaud them. I'm going to definitely applaud Torey Lovullo and his crew and Bud Black and his crew. I think it's great. But once we settle in here, 2.5, 3 months in, it's going to be Dodgers, Giants, Padres in some sort of order. In the NL Central, it's only two teams. I mean, they are going to lap the field by June, right? I mean, the Reds are already planning for 2023. The Pirates, we know, are the Pirates right now. And the Cubs are not, they don't have anybody pitch, Stroman hasn't pitched well, Hendricks hasn't pitched well, and Miley hasn't pitched. So it's the Cardinals and the Brewers. Here's the thing about the Cardinals. Most of the guys are not hitting great. And a lot of people are in on Nolan Gorman. I think he's their number one prospect. He's already made the move from third to second, right? Once Arenado got traded. And so now everybody wants him to come up, be the second baseman, and move Gold Glover second baseman Tommy Edman, who's playing great, over to shortstop, and then rid themselves of DeYoung, which I can understand. And is that going to be the difference maker? We talked about young guys' struggles yesterday. That's not always the answer. But when a guy is like a 1,200 OPS or whatever he is in the minors at 21 years old, and you're like, is it the difference? I would say if there's a problem, I would go trade for a veteran shortstop that I know can give us something. That's what I would do.
The young guys, I don't want to take anything away from guys coming up. They can provide a spark 100%. And, whether that's, a big hit in a situation or, just providing a little bit more lineup depth. I mean, that's 100% you can do that. And, some people can come up throughout their first year and have success. Okay. Like that is, and I don't want people to think that every prospect is going to fail, but I agree with you. I think they're probably thinking about, what rentals are out there this year. Yeah, we can bring Nolan up and we can shift Edman over and we can do this, but they're exploring a lot of different things out there. And I think both these teams will probably add during the year. I think they both kind of see themselves in the playoffs no matter what. If I was their organizations, I would feel that way. So I'm a believer in the Cardinals team, and they haven't even had Flaherty at all.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like he's inching his way back, and we send him good thoughts. Finally, not really a question, just more of a shout out to Kelsie Whitmore, who became the first woman to pitch in an Atlantic League game. The Staten Island Ferry Hawks. She retired the only batter she faced on a flyout, which is awesome. I am so in favor of it. I love it. I love the example she's setting out there. Give little girls out there the chance to dream that they can do whatever they want. I don't care what it is, athletics, arts, lawyer. Who cares? We all need examples. And here's another one.
Yeah, I showed my daughter the video.
Did you?
Thought it was really cool. Yeah, we do a thing on Sundays at our league where she does it's called Trotters. She goes out there, she does drills, she's got a little jersey, she has her thing. It's and fun.
She's 4. It's cute.
She's 4 years old, but she likes to see girls doing stuff that she likes to do.
Absolutely.
And for a lot of time, there wasn't any examples of that. Now we've had 2, kind of in the last calendar year. So I love it. I think it's cool.
I think it's great. And, you got to be good enough to play, and that's all that matters. And that's what all these women will tell you is, I just want to be good enough at my job. And if I'm not good enough, they'll replace me. And if I'm good enough, then because I'm a woman, that shouldn't be a reason why I'm not here. That's what we love to hear. And it's really cool to see. I loved every bit of it. What do you have coming up on John Boy?
We have our JM all April team episode out of Talking Baseball. And then tomorrow we'll do our series recap, recap this week's action. So go check all that stuff off. Go read the articles about, our company and kind of who we brought in. I think that's really cool. What do you got?
Yeah, it is great. It's great. I can't wait for the holiday party because I'm going to be taking some selfies with those people. It's going to be There's
2 different sections of our holiday party.
Got it. Yeah. I'm on the other. I understand. As I said, Tyler Glasnow episode is out. Everybody always loves hearing from Glass, where he is in his recovery, what's going on, what's keeping him busy. He's in another new place. Like, he's done 3 shows. He's done them from 3 different cribs. It's ridiculous. And what he does while his team is on the West Coast, for like 12 days all by himself. It's fascinating. It's all really good. Special shout out to our producer extraordinaire, Dan Rourke. That is Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Friday on Baseball Today.